All right, all right,
Okay, there we go. So we made it on.
right.
Yay!
Thank
A
you.
little
Awesome.
technical difficulties, but we're here.
We are
Sorry.
here.
We're back.
Right where
Mm,
we're supposed to be.
right.
Another
All
water
right.
cooler Wednesday.
Right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another Water Cooler Wednesday. And my name is
Yay.
Dion Branch, and I'm with eXp Realty. And with me, of course, is
Lisa J, House Money Mama, and Next to Mortgage, where brokers are better.
right, right. So today we wanted to talk about property taxes. So, um, we've had our guest here before with us, and she shared with us a lot of great information about property taxes. So of course we couldn't do anything else but invite her back, right, to
That's
share with
right.
us some information. So Nancy, you wanna kind of introduce yourself and tell the world what you do, who you are?
Well, first and foremost, you guys, I want to thank you, Dion, for allowing me back. This is a great platform for all who are interested in keeping and saving their properties. And Lisa, I love you. Thank you again for allowing me, inviting me the first time around. So I just want to give honor where honor is due. My name is Nancy Crims, aka the Property Tax Queen. I
Yes.
have been lowering property taxes. I've been lowering property taxes for over 20 years. And if you own any type of property, especially in the state and in the county of Cook County of Illinois, you need to appeal your property taxes. So basically, in a nutshell, we make sure that property owners are paying their fair and equitable share of their property taxes. So imagine you have a pie and there's a slice in each pie, and everyone's
Mhm.
supposed to pay a slice of their proportionate share of the pie based on what is the needs of that county and the state. And what my job is to make sure that you're not overpaying the government in their property taxes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we know that property taxes play like a big part in the loan process,
Yes.
determining how much a person can afford, in order to get a house. So, Lisa, you maybe want to share a little bit about that because people are always like, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a mortgage. It doesn't matter that these property taxes is $10,000, $12,000."
Okay, so that would be a big myth. It absolutely does matter. And it matters a dollar for dollar. So like you would do better to pay more for your house and have that stretched out over the course of 30 years than what you would to actually have your property taxes increase because that's a dollar for dollar. If taxes increase by $5,000 per year, then that is going to be $600 every month as part of your the increase in your monthly mortgage payment. So it definitely makes a difference. And if anybody is understands about debt to income ratio, then you also know that having higher and a higher amount that you have to pay per month means that takes up your debt to income ratio. We don't like high debt to income ratios because then that's going to disqualify you for a loan, or it may disqualify you from being able to buy as much as you want to buy. Might make the difference between that $150,000 house and that $275,000 house. So, and that can matter. That could be a big deal. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it
So
can actually be
Nancy,
a deal breaker.
yeah,
Yep,
right,
it
yeah.
can. It definitely can.
Yeah, a lot of times, people will say, "Oh, I'm approved for 250,000, 300,000, or whatever,"
Hmm.
and then I have to call Lisa and say, "Okay, what tax did we use? What tax amount did we use?"
Hmm.
Because maybe they said at first that they were looking in the city, right? Because city taxes might be about 3,000 or something.
Yeah,
But then,
3,600. Now they're trying to go out to max, and it's about 8,000.
right,
Yeah,
8,000, right? And don't let the house have no exemptions. Oh my goodness, right, right. So,
Right.
that's a whole nother animal in and of itself.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yes.
So that's why it's really important that that you know when you're getting pre-approved, like what your tax amount is that your lender is pre-approving for, and making sure that you telling them what area you actually want to live in, because
Yeah.
then they may know, okay, I need to give them a higher tax amount because they're looking for the suburbs. But
Absolutely. One of the things that I've noticed, we didn't really do a market update today, but because we are limited on time, so we want to give as much time as possible to Miss Nancy. But property taxes have been increasing. She can probably speak to that a little bit because I'm sure she's seeing it in her field. That there are a lot of people that are seeing their taxes go up. So this is a really, really good time for you to get in contact with her and ask her, what can you do about challenging that? Would you, if you don't mind, Nancy, could you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. We have about 6 methods that we use to appeal your assessment. So, what I mean by that, just property tax 101, your assessment is the actual value that the county is stating that your property is worth on the a market if you were willing to sell it. So, that may not always be correct. And so, what we do is we sometimes um, find data that supports a reduction of the assessed value.
Mhm.
However, lately, you guys know it's a seller's market now. Markets,
Yes.
values of home have been climbing. So we do find other methods such as, are you over 65? Are you a disabled veteran? Are you disabled? Are you 67, which entitles you to your senior freeze? There are other things. I have clients, I got her back $80,000 because her husband was deceased and she was a disabled veteran. And because she was the wife, she was entitled to not paying any property taxes. So there's other methods.
Wow.
Your property square footage can be incorrect. Your characteristics can be incorrect. So what we do is we try to look at the overall picture of your house to see if there's any way that we can lower your property taxes. And we do that up front with a tax analysis, a complimentary property tax analysis to let you
Okay.
know if we can do anything.
uh,
Oh, that's awesome.
right. A lot of times we tell our new buyers that they have to be in the house for a year before they can get a modification of their taxes or anything. Is that
That's a non-truth. Let me just use that word, that terminology. As soon
Okay.
as you own the property, day one, if when your township opens, you can appeal your property taxes. You may be referring to the homeowner's exemptions. So what you guys need to know is that if the previous owner was receiving homeowners exemptions, the new buyer automatically received those. If the property was vacant to prior to purchase, then they have to wait an entire year before they receive the homeowner exemption. However,
okay?
from the day that they purchase the property and the townships are open to appeal, they can appeal those property taxes for the following year. Because as you know, property taxes nationwide are always in the rear. We're in 2022 and we're paying our 21 property taxes. So if you owned your
Yeah.
property and lived in it as of January 1st, you are entitled to homeowners exemption, seniors exemption, senior freeze, disabled exemption, disabled veteran exemption. Those are the and senior freeze exemption. There's something called the senior freeze where up to $5,000 a senior can freeze their property taxes and don't have to pay it until they sell the home at a later date.
Okay. Oh, is that what that is? I didn't know that's how that worked.
Senior freeze exemption, yes.
No.
Okay.
And then
Oh,
also, I almost forgot, this is the time for everyone in Cook County who owns a charitable or religious organization. If they want their property taxes exempt in Cook County, we have until May 12th. Really, I'm giving all of my clients to May 6th. If they own a property and it's a charitable or which is a nonprofit 501c3 or a
Okay.
religious organization, whether it's a church or the pastor's home, we can exempt those property taxes. So that's what's going on now with Cook County. We can do it at any time in Will County. There's no deadlines. We just apply at any time. But they must have a 501c3, whether it's a religious church or a charitable organization.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right. It's a
Sounds
lot of good
good.
information here.
Right. You see, I'm over here taking notes. I have to call up some of my pastor friends. Hey,
Yes, yes.
Right.
you know?
Did
Yeah,
you know? Right.
and their house too. I mean, yeah, I have an ironclad system for their home. So the pastor, as long as the church is responsible for the pastor's home, we can get the property taxes exempt. You would be surprised how much of a blessing it is to the church when the pastor doesn't have to worry about his property taxes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's
Okay.
wonderful. Okay.
All right. Anything else special we need to know about taxes?
Well, one of the things that happens when I deal with a lot of realtors, and I kind of like do the complimentary tax analysis up front to let them know, like you were saying earlier, Dion, which was so apropos when you're purchasing a mortgage. What is the taxes and what is the value that you're actually qualifying for? So I actually do an analysis based on the selling price of the property to kind of let them know if I can lower the property taxes, whether or not based on the purchase price, if the taxes will be going up, because more than likely, this is what I don't want to happen. If they're purchasing a property and they had a big sellers, we're in a seller's market, and they
Mm-hmm.
paid double than what the assessor's going paid, then guess what? Their tax is going to go up. And how many people actually get a $500 or $700, $800 a month raise? Um,
Right.
an
Right.
average person get a 7 to 10% raise. They're not getting a 500 or 600. Well, I'm not sure what their salary are, but basically you
Yeah.
have to know you don't want to tax yourself out of the home, because most first time home buyers, and I get this all the time, I didn't know my mortgage payment. They told me my mortgage payment was going to be this. They never told me my property taxes were going to increase and my mortgage was going to increase. So if I can say one thing to financial brokers and mortgage lenders is, please, Lisa, and everyone out there, notify the first time home buyers that, hey, there is a potential that your property taxes may increase. So you need to be fighting it at all times.
Mm-hmm. And your increase is based on because maybe the house wasn't rehab before and they did a rehab, so then the
Yes,
value of the house went up, right?
yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. And
Okay.
so therefore,
What other things can contribute to an increase in property taxes? Like how, because it sounds like
well,
you have a pretty good insight, understanding of how that works. So
Well, I do, but there is some extreme vagueness in the property tax system, especially in Crook County. Um, we pay the second highest property taxes in the nation, maybe third now. And
Mhm.
really, there's no rhyme or reason. I had a commercial client that is, oh my God, that's in Homewood. She paid 147 for the property. It's a commercial property. She was paying $11,000. When the reassessment came in 2020, the tax bill went from 11,000 to $60,000.
That
So
is
how was she able
crazy.
to stay in
You see that
business?
look, Dion?
How was she able to stay in business? So
Yeah.
it's no rhyme or reason. They have some algorithm that I believe is just totally bias.
Random.
I can say
Hmm.
it's racially biased. I'm going to put that on a line as well.
Mm.
And predominantly black neighborhoods, we can find that our property taxes cost more per value, per amenities, per the area, per square footage. We're paying a lot more in property taxes than Barrington, Northbrook,
Yeah.
Naperville, and all of that, based on
Mhm.
the value, again, the size, what
Okay.
they do in their area. So I will still say that property taxes are racially biased as well.
And
Mm.
I mean, the houses out there are bigger than the houses, in some of our areas. So
Absolutely.
how do you justify that? Wow. So,
Well,
Wow.
one of the concoctions that they drum up and say, oh, we don't have that many businesses out here. Yes, there's no businesses in Barrington. There's no business in Barrington. There's no business in Hillside or Hinsdale. There's not. But again, based on their property tax, the value of the home in Matson, there's someone paying $20,000 for a $300,000 house, whereas in Barrington they're paying $15,000 for $1 million house, or $16,000 for $1 million house. That's not equitable. That's
pretty
equitable.
disparate. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a pretty disparate difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know it was that different. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
It sounds like we need to have a petition going or something. I mean,
we have all types of lawsuits. Matson, actually, the homeowners, there was a homeowners association in Matson that actually tried to sue the assessor.
Okay.
It was another organization that tried to sue the assessor. There's been several lawsuits concerning the values of properties, especially in the south suburbs now, unfortunately. And
so are there any areas where the taxes were higher, but the neighborhood may be changing, that the taxes might go down lower? Anything like that coming our way?
Well, fortunately, some of the property taxes, the property owners did receive some relief in 2020, and because of the COVID-19.
Okay.
But they did go back up on some of them in 2021. They automatically just increased based on the 1 year of reduction on COVID-19. So, and I did see in a lot of the city areas, they did go down. The reassessments, Lake did go down, some in Hyde Park, but some of the higher regentified areas are going up a lot, almost doubling. I had a client, his property tax doubled in the city, was $5,000. He's now paying $10,000 for one of those homes that was knocked down, and it was completely new. And they basically went on the purchase price, and they actually went $50,000 less than the purchase price. I think he paid $550. They assessed it at $450, and he was originally paying $5,000. Of course, now his mortgage is up double. And so when your mortgage, so this is what happens when your mortgage goes up because of the property taxes. You know, you have to pay the shortage because you never was paying every month for that property tax bill. Then you have to adjust for the following year. So that has to double. So that's why when most people can get taxed out of their homes is because they have to pay the shortage and the increase. And that could be double what they were paying in principal or what they were even paying in the mortgage payment.
Wow. Yeah, when you get behind, it's hard to catch up. Once you get behind, it's very hard to catch up. And I think that's just in most things in general with the way, you know, dealing with, because we're on a monthly cycle for income, you know. And so when you have that disparate of a change, you know, that happens, and from one area of the debt to income, like you just got it in the debt, but you don't have it in the income, then it's going to be hard to catch up. You're trying to pay almost twice as much with the same amount of money. So mathematically, of course, that's impossible. So you have to find a way to make those ends meet, you know. But yeah, and you know, and I thank you for pointing that out today too, because really with the market that we're in, you know, we do have, as a lender, I have ratios that I have to go by in order for me to do what they call a QM file, a qualified mortgage file. But on FHA, which I do a lot of FHA business, like 98% of my business, maybe 99% of my business is FHA loans, usually first time buyers, or, you know, it's a primary residence, obviously, because it's FHA. But what happens is I can go up to 56.99% on the back end ratio. So that is more than half of a person's income that's being, you know, factored into there. And we go off of the gross amount, not the net. So, you know, if your gross amount of income every month is 5,000, you might only net 3,000, but I'm going to, you know, calculate based upon the 5.
No.
So
Wow.
That's actually something in this market. It's a little bit eye-opening for me right now because I think I should, maybe make some adjustments for people's pre-qualifications because, what if they do get that? What if they do get into a place where it ends up going up a little bit higher? And then now they find themselves, we never want to put anybody in a place where they're, in a bad situation or
Right.
a lot of people that we work with, this is like literally dream, first person in their family, things like that. That's their situation to be able to actually buy a home, or first person to, buy a multi-family property or something like that. So those things are really important. Those are huge milestones in people's lives. So, that we don't want to take that lightly. And we want to continue to set people up to succeed. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I appreciate you saying that because it's something, to just make sure we're keeping in mind as we're out there looking. The market is extremely competitive, extremely.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So you do find yourself pushing like, okay, well, you couldn't find anything that you were looking for when we had you in this bracket, so now maybe we need to change and, make it higher. But now I got to think about, okay, if I make it higher, let me also increase those taxes too, because that could potentially happen later on down the road. It may not be there now, but it can happen later on down the road. And I'd rather have that already factored in. So that's good. Good stuff. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, taxes are a big one. We see it all the time. It definitely plays a big factor. Just like Lisa was saying, in our purchasing and helping people with purchasing homes, because we're looking and we're like, oh, okay, this one's taxes is only $4,500. We could go with this, but now we know, okay, this was a recent rehab. It could go up. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any last words for you, Miss Nancy, that things that we should keep in mind or to look forward to as far as how this market is going right now?
Well, all good things must come to an end. But I just want to say one thing. I don't know who quoted, but this is a famous quote, I believe. They say it under the Uncle Sam symbol. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. I'm going to say nothing is certain but life, death, and taxes, because there must be life before there's a death. So I'm going to use my Nancy, the property tax queen quote. Nothing is certain but life, death, and taxes. So know what your property tax should be and what you should be paying.
All right. All right, Nancy. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
How did they get in contact with her? Do we have her number?
No, yeah.
Okay.
So you can reach us online at any time on www.ptreduction.com. That's www. stands for property, T stands for tax, reduction, reduction.com. You can also reach us via telephone at 708-986-5301. We're on Instagram, Property Tax Reduction. We're on Facebook, Property Tax Reduction. So if you are interested in analysis, reach us in any of those methods, 708-986-5301 or www.ptreduction.com.
All right. Awesome. I'm gonna display that real quick for us. Nancy, that looks right. All right.
Yes.
Okay, then. All right, then. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I salute you, ladies, woman to woman, and have a rest of prosperous and joyful week.
You too. Thank you so much. Love you, sis.